And here, Caitlin Clark just dancing with the basketball, going to her left, stepping into it.
Back Benley. Here's Clark, a good look from three. She got it! The first.
Caitlin Clark does not need much space here.
Is this shooting? That was a wild sequence there. Clark, the switch on to Dolson, steps back and buries a triple.
All right, guys, we're going to get right into this. The WNBA, boy, are they something else. They have a huge racism problem. And you know what's funny? It's not the typical racism that one might expect. You know, white guy hates black guy. No. We're not talking about that kind of racism. We're actually talking about the other type of racism. You know, the quiet racism. The racism that nobody talks about, which is kind of strange because it's racism, right? Isn't all racism hated? Right now, we're talking about racism that is being towards Caitlin Clark. And that's funny because who would be racist towards Caitlin Clark? The other black females in the WNBA. And this is the funny thing because Caitlin Clark is the most popular WNBA superstar they have ever had in their entire existence. I'll say that one more time. Caitlin Clark is the most popular superstar the WNBA has ever had in their existence. And they hate her. But we'll talk about the WNBA racism later. First of all, who's watching that, to be honest with you? I mean, who was watching women's college basketball before, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark came on scene? But I got to tell you, they brought so much attention to that. And what happened was, when she did the John Cena, I was like, oh, wow, okay, a little bad guy in there. I like it. And then Caitlin Clark, she's just a little, sweet little, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'll see you next year. I was like, oh, Caitlin, I want you to have a little edge. This girl's all in your face. I want you to have a little edge, So, of course, next year, oh, boy, did she come back. 41-point game to beat Angel Reese. Now, I got to tell you, it was exciting. I mean, who gets excited about women's college basketball, right? I mean, anybody talk about it? Is FS1, ESPN, do they talk about women's college basketball before, those two came on? No. But I got to tell you, I did not foresee the hate that Caitlin Clark would get. Because for so many years, you would hear the WNBA talking about, no one's paying attention to us. We need more money. Nobody's talking about us. Why? And rightfully so. I mean, nobody did care about the WNBA. Nobody cared about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese got on scene. And, man, when they came in, they made a huge impact. Caitlin Clark made a good impact, and Angel Reese made an impact for missing the most layups I've ever seen a person miss. But, hey, impact is impact, right? And we're gonna spin this whole thing, and we're going to say, you know what? I didn't think it was racism at first. I give her the benefit of that. I didn't think it was racism at first. This is what I thought. They talk about a good NFL, NBA, whatever professional league, a veteran towards rookie. They talk about some type of, I'm going to get you, welcome to the league type of thing, right? Welcome to the league, rookie. That's what they say. And I remember one of the times when Caitlin Clark was going up for a layup and Angel Reese, Stone Cold Steve Austin, cold clocked her in the side of the head. And I was like, whoa, is that a welcome to the league moment, or is that something else? You know what? I said, welcome to the league moment. It was 50-50. It was borderline, but I was like, you know what? A little hatred right there, but, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't until Kennedy Carter, who was Angel Reese's teammate at the time when she first got in the league. When Angel Reese first got in the league, Kennedy Carter, Angel Reese was on the bench. Kennedy Carter, her teammate on the Chicago Sky, comes right behind Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark doesn't even have the ball. Caitlin Clark is minding her own business, and Kennedy Carter just comes up and tackles her, pushes her from behind. Hard push from behind. And I have never seen, Angel Reese is on the bench at this time, I have never seen a person cheer so hard in my life. When Angel Reese saw her teammate push Caitlin Clark from the back and she started cheering like she just won a championship, I was like, aha. That's something else, guys. That's not a welcome to the league rookie type of moment. That's not a, let me give her a little something. No. That was the racism part. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Why are all these black women out here in the WNBA crying and upset, hate, showing racism towards Caitlin Clark when Caitlin Clark is bringing all this attention to the league. I mean, who was talking about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese got there? Nobody. Now, I totally understand. They've had some amazing, talented people. You know, Cheryl Miller is amazing. Lisa Leslie is probably one of the best WNBA players of all time. But who was really talking about it? Year after year, who was talking about the WNBA? Nobody. No sports network was talking about the WNBA. No man for sure who was a huge sports fan was talking about the WNBA. It wasn't until Caitlin Clark got on scene. And, you know, I'll say this. Angel Reese brought a little attention for sure. She did bring a little attention for sure. But let's not get things messed up. Let's not get things twisted. Caitlin Clark is the reason why the ratings for the WNBA have skyrocketed. I mean, she's selling out arenas. I mean, this girl is phenomenal. And it started in college. I mean, she was the female Steph Curry, hitting logo threes, half-court threes, doing all this stuff, right? I remember my buddy was like, hey, my buddy Kevin was like, I want you to watch Caitlin Clark. I'm not watching. Who is that? This girl from Iowa. Why would I ever watch a girl from Iowa? Are you crazy? First of all, no offense, but whoever says, honey, pack your bags, kids, pack your bags, we're going to Iowa. Whoever says that. There's nothing in Iowa. You know, they got a college football, okay, but nobody talks about Iowa. Nobody cares about Iowa like that. No offense, people from Iowa, but I mean, nobody's really talking about it. But I mean, she brought so much attention to your town. So I'm like, okay, you know what, Kevin, I'll watch this girl, and I'll tell you that after like the first 2 or 3 games, I was hooked. I knew that she was going to bring a lot of attention to the WNBA. It was just something special about her that I knew that, wow, this girl had a chance to rival NBA games. Like if there was a Caitlin Clark game and let's just say Indiana Pacers game going on at the same time, I'm going to say people are going to watch Caitlin Clark more than the Pacers. That at that point in time when she first came into the league, I'm going to say Caitlin Clark would bring more attention to her team than the Pacers. No offense, Pacers. But this is just being honest. Now, one of the other portions of this little caveat is the WNBA is very quiet. Why are they so quiet? Why are they so quiet about racism that's going on in the WNBA? And I'll tell you right now, if this was a white person being racist towards a black person, oh my gosh, you wouldn't hear the end of it. It'd be all over ABC and NBC. You know, Jesse Jackson he would go out there and march. But when black women are being racist towards a white person, nobody's talking about it. They're like kind of looking at the other way. Hey, I see a black person being racist towards a white person. And they're like, they're looking away. They don't care. Now, is it because the demographic of the WNBA is 95, 96% black? I mean, let's just be honest here. The WNBA, the NBA, the NFL, they have to pander, okay? And I'm a huge NFL fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. And the crazy thing is, for years, it was an end racism logo. And I know how this stuff happens, right? When you have BLM or you have all these pride stuff going on, they hit up the NBA, they hit up the NFL. Hey, we want to work with you guys. They have to say yes, because if they say no, well, guess what? The pride stuff, the BLM stuff, hey, I call the NBA, hey, I call the NFL, and they refuse to work with us. So they must be racist. They must be, homophobic. So they say, okay, we'll work with you guys. I mean, so much so, the NFL pandered so much that they had a end racism logo on the field for years. Do you think anybody in the KKK, any white supremacist who really hates, a certain race, do you think they're looking at the Jets and Patriots play and they say on a Sunday, hey guys, come over here. I'm watching this game right now and it says the end racism on the field. What do you say, guys? Let's end racism. Do you think that stuff actually happens? Or is it just some type of political stunt, to pander and make people happy? I don't know. That's what I think. Why would you do that? Again, it was like the NBA. The NBA had BLM shirts. And we know BLM was a corrupt organization. We know that. We know BLM was a corrupt organization. I mean, all that money that people were donating was getting embezzled, and they were buying themselves houses and they were buying themselves cars, and the one brother got like $800,000 as a security pay. Like, it was crazy. But this is what I have to say. One of the things that I have is I do not respect people that cry racism, people that hate racism, people in the black community that hate racism. But when they're being racist to somebody else, it's okay for some reason. If anybody were to say, look at that black kid over, look at that black kid, it'd be all over the news. But you hear black people all the time say, well, look at that white boy. Look at that white girl. She's something else, that white girl. And it's just accepted. I mean, you saw the other day, Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner literally said, trash effing white girl. And it was funny because you see people on ESPN say, no, she didn't. She didn't say that. She said, whack call. First of all, it's 2025. Who says whack? It's like the 90s. Who is saying that? But yet you'll have people in the black community make excuses 24/7. 24/7, you're going to have people make excuses. So going back to this, the WNBA has a huge problem because their number one superstar, the most popular superstar that they've ever had in their entire existence is white. And these black girls hate that. Why did this white girl get all this attention? Why? Why did this white girl get all this attention? What is she doing? And they found out, well, it's not just hype. I mean, she's phenomenal. She's great. But they cannot stand when you are dominant in something and you're black, and let's just say it's a black thing, right? You know, the NBA has a 90% black demographic or hip hop, whatever, and a white person comes in and they start doing just as good, if not better than black people, they hate that. But the WNBA, it's a hard organization to figure out because they complained about ratings. They've complained about ratings. They complained about people not paying attention to the sport. They complained about pay. And all of a sudden, you have an opportunity. This is the best opportunity the WNBA has ever had to have eyes on them, to get this girl, ride Caitlin Clark's wave. Why not? She's bringing all the attention. So guess what? If I know that everybody watches the Indiana Fever and I am the Chicago Sky player and I'm going against the Indiana Fever, I'm going to show out. Oh, I'm doing it through the legs. I'm doing it through the back. Oh, I'm scoring 30. That is your opportunity right there for people to know who you're talking about because all eyes are going to be on Caitlin Clark. And then the problem that I have is that Angel Reese, first of all, guys, let's just be honest. There is no more rivalry. There is no more rivalry. The rivalry is dead, okay? The reason why there's no rivalry anymore is because you have to have equal amount of talent. You know, Kobe LeBron, Jordan Kobe, Dwayne Wade and Kevin Durant. You have to have the equal level of talent. You go back and forth. Hey, I'm going to drop 50, you drop 50, and let the best man win type of thing. Caitlin Clark is 100 times better than Angel Reese. Let's just be honest here. Caitlin Clark is 100 times better than Angel Reese. People right now, there's clips online, if you see, of Angel Reese missing layups, and people are cheering because they're betting on it. It's crazy. It's crazy that this stuff is happening. But I'll tell you this. The WNBA has to get their act together because Caitlin Clark was injured and she was out for, I don't know, I want to say like 2 weeks. And the WNBA ratings dropped 50%. One player. The ratings for the WNBA when that player was not playing dropped 50%. That is the impact this one person has on the entire league, and they're not taking care of her. The refs don't give her any calls. You have people that are racist towards Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA is quiet. And don't even get me started on the WNBA giving a tribute to George Floyd. Are you kidding me? The WNBA is going to give a tribute to George Floyd. That's this guy who you decide to honor. The guy who was a habitual drug user, a crime, a felon. Whatever happened to honoring, great black people? We're going to honor George Floyd, a habitual drug user, in and out of prison all the time. Now I will say, the drugs are one thing. I understand people have problems. I hope they get better. I understand. That's not even the thing I'm even really upset about. The thing that I'm upset about is that him and his friend decide to break into a woman's house and they put a gun to that woman's pregnant belly. And that is who the WNBA decides to honor? The WNBA is a joke right now. They have an opportunity to be a great league. They have an opportunity to ride the coattails of the most important player, the most popular player they've ever had, and yet for some reason they are pandering to the black people in there and not calling out the racism. Yes, black people, you can be racist. That is a thing. Racism is not just exclusive to the white people, okay? Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA fails. WNBA, you got to get your act together.